Well, remember what I said yesterday about it might be a precursor to today? These four waveforms are actually pretty dependable, even in an era and environment of fairly regular intervention by the authorities. The market went way down today, right away again down to Dow 33,000. Then after just a few minutes, they decided to try to pump it back up again. Never quite made it there. Came back down again. The point is it went up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, crawling up the whole time toward the level, never quite made it. It looks to me like it turned into a diagonal triangle wave. Okay, had the basic form of one. Actually, yesterday's afternoon's trading looked like that too, except this one was even flatter. And the point is, coming out of a diagonal triangle wave, especially one that's leaning to the upside, which they usually do, usually once you come to the tip, to the peak, okay, it converges to a point and then comes out of it. Usually when it gets to that point and comes out of it, it comes crashing back down again, okay? Since I said it closed basically at top tick yesterday afternoon, but it was basically at the tip of the converging lines, of the slow slog up, it looked to me like we might see the beginning of the downturn today. Maybe, probably not even the whole thing because it was a big enough move yesterday. Well, because of the, try to save it at all costs mentality these days, that one has not played out in full yet and might not near term. But the one that formed intraday this morning at a lower scale, at a smaller level, did play out. Okay? Because it played out over the course of the morning, trying to get back up there to where it closed yesterday. Never quite made it. Once it hit the tip, it came crashing back down again. Then they made it down to 33,000 for a little bit. Then they dropped hard out of that, okay, and spent much of the rest of the day desperately hanging on to Dow 32,800, bouncing up and down off of that level several times. The point being, relative to the bigger picture, they were right back down to the lowest lows of recent days at that point, and we're trying desperately not to go below those lows. Okay, near the end of the day, they tried to ram it back up to 33,000 again, didn't quite make it, and at the very end of the day, they were just desperately trying to hang on to 32,900 with fairly wild end of day swings again while they tried to do that. Bob back and forth, up and down, above and below that level. In the end, the closing bell hit when they happened to be above the level a little bit. Okay? The bottom line of what was going on, especially this afternoon, you could see it clearly in the waveforms, and especially combined with the levels that those waveforms were at, was absolutely desperately trying to hang on to avoid going any lower. Okay? The German market was also pretty much just hanging on this morning. All the lower trading this afternoon, of course, happened after the German market closed. We'll see how that affects the situation tomorrow. What I can say is that interest rates came back up above 3% today, and the oil market also went to new near-term highs now during the day today, above $120 per barrel in North American oil, North American crude oil. And just eyeballing it, one can pretty clearly see that the sharp drop down in the American markets pretty much coincided with that increase in oil prices, okay? Indicating that the traders are well aware that the oil price going higher with the gas prices already as high as they are is not going to help the economy one bit. I also happened to take a look at the Dow Jones Transportation Average today because of what is going on, and sure enough, it was coming down hard too on a near-term basis. Clearly, the traders in the transportation stocks are well aware that commercial transportation, which is what that index is all about, is also going to be hurt by fuel prices going up, including, of course, diesel, which goes up too when gas goes up. They go up together. Just that most of the time we talk about gas prices because most consumers only care directly about gas prices as opposed to diesel prices. Okay. Anyway, bottom line is things are still going in the wrong direction as I suspected and anticipated they would. Okay, I think they will continue to do that. On top of that, a major inflation report is coming out on Friday morning. I think that the market is waiting on bated breath, waiting to see what that is going to say. That is now just a day away, day and a half. And I suspect it's not going to be a pretty picture. So it'll be very interesting to see what the market does on Friday when that report comes out. I suspect it's going to be a pretty bad Friday again under the circumstances. But we will see when the time comes. We will see what reality actually brings. But as I noted with regard to the brief update yesterday, it was a setup yesterday afternoon intraday for a big drop today. And it happened starting right away, first thing in the morning. They tried all day long to hang on to it at various lower levels and basically failed. Okay, they even tried to ram it up at the end of the day, yet couldn't hold it to the end of the day. It started coming back down again. Okay, so you know, they had a big down drop today that was bigger than the up move yesterday. It did come down again. It's basically down at the multi-day recent lows. And I suspect if the inflation report is bad enough on Friday, it won't hold those through the end of the week. But we will see. Take it a day at a time. The big picture will continue to get worse, I think. Okay? I'm not trying to be fearmonger here. I'm not trying to be a sourpuss. I'm just saying this is the way reality looks, and the best thing one can do is prepare for it, rather than just saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and going into fear mode all the time. That's the absolute worst thing one can do under the circumstances, although I also suspect it's the very thing that most people are going to actually do under the circumstances, especially in America, but probably elsewhere as well. We'll see about that, but I think that's likely. Anyway, my push is going to kind of be in the opposite direction as part of the reason I'm doing these videos, and as part of the reason why I'm doing this stuff in the bigger picture that I'm doing that I haven't talked about yet much in these videos. We'll see when I start doing that. And not right away. Things have to go a little bit further along first before it gets to the point where that's worthwhile, and I may not talk about it in these videos at all. I have other plans for that as well. We'll see how that plays itself out when the time comes.